We rise in faith, we lead, we pray. This is the place where courage grows, where battles birth a holy glow. You are seen, you are heard, you're a daughter of the word. At the Deborah Table, we rise as one, strong and steady till the work is done. With oil and grace, we light the flame, mentored in truth, called by his name. At the Deborah Table, we rise as one, strong.
You do that within the edit. You don't just sit here and fake no bloopers in the beginning.
How you gonna be fake?
Mom, stop procrastinating and come on, because you got all your notes.
What did you talk about?
You stop procrastinating. Every time somebody hit record, you want to act all nervous.
He didn't hear from Cole, he did.
Come on.
Oh, it is?
Exactly. She's trying to be fake and add that as no bloopers. I mean, it is. Freaking fake.
Well, you're not.
Your scene, you
I
think
sent y'all the stuff.
you thinking your scene is better than everybody else's scene. You thinking that
Guys,
you perfect.
welcome to the Deborah Table, where faith meets reality. I'm your host, Janine, and I'm here with my girls today. And we want to talk about.
Yeah. Hey guys. Yeah, you definitely talk like that. You definitely can you just cut that off and delete that and then we finna start.
Welcome to the Deborah Table, where faith meets real life. I'm your host, Janine, and I'm here today with my girls, and we want to focus on a conversation about comparison, judgment, and how to offer grace, where we think our sin is better than someone else's sin. Why do we think that just because, what's a good example of somebody thinking that the sin that they do, because we all sin. So why do we try to justify our sin and somebody else is being worse than ours? Like why do we do that?
I mean, I seen a post that said that's what's wrong with today's time, to where just because I chose to just say that your sin that you struggle with is gambling, and mine is just overeating. Mm-hmm. So I can like, well, yeah, she really is just, she didn't gamble all her money away. She can't even pay her mortgage, and she over here finna risk her home because she can't get out the casino. Well, you can equally look at my sin like, she just be over there overeating. She over there, she just got diagnosed with diabetes and congestive heart failure. She just keep eating like it's still the same. Just because you didn't choose the sin that I'm, struggling with, doesn't mean that yours is greater than mine or mine is greater than yours. God don't look at it like that. He look at it, what it is, face value. Like, you know how you look at a bar and they upside, like that. But if you flip that bar towards you, you don't see which one is higher or lower than the other one. You just see bars across.
And he also said that no sin is greater than the other. So
right.
But what would be your definition of self-righteous?
So self-righteousness is like, it says they may genuinely believe their actions are more justified or less severe. And it's like you say, when God look at sin, is sin.
Yeah.
I think the only sin out there that kind of trumps other sins is blasphemy. So, right? Anything else?
I mean, that's what the Bible says.
Right, it's just still all just sin. Mm-hmm. But self-righteousness is like, I just did this little thing. Like I might have lied on the application. I said I knew how to do this job, but I really don't know how to do it. But you out here robbing banks or stealing in the store, so I'm gonna make my sin look less severe than what you do. So I think that's an example of self-righteousness.
Yeah, but I don't think it's no one answer as to why people do that, because I feel like it's just human nature. Like we all, in some form of fashion, even if we not intentionally trying to be judgmental, but it's just like when it comes to gossip. Like, we all can turn an ear to gossip. Like, ooh, dang, she did that. But it's not intentional of us, you know,
To be listening
or to even, but it's just one of the things to where you'll make a comment like, I wouldn't have did that. But it's something that you did that the next person wouldn't have did. You know, I think it's just human nature. That's why, like, I know for me, when I've been praying here lately for the Lord to make me more righteous. Not self-righteous, but I want to be righteous. Because the Bible tells us to be righteous. Or whatever. So that's what I've been just, when I be reading and stuff like that, I've been trying to ask the Lord to help me to be righteous by doing good and being good, speaking good, and just changing my heart posture.
Right. So I was looking at, looking at Galatians chapter 6. And verse 4 says, but let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. So in my study notes, I don't read all the study notes, but it's explaining what that verse means. And to sum it up, basically saying when judgment day comes, the evaluation will be based on not how well one person did in comparison to another, but how well each person did in light of God's calling and provision. So we are here comparing sin or whatnot, and he ain't looking at that.
Because that don't matter to him.
Do y'all think it came from, like, the court system? Like somebody saying you get locked up, they give you, well, since you did this, you get this many years. But since you did that, you get this many years.
Not even only the court system, school. Like, you think about being in school and you got the A students over here, you got the B students over here, you got your F students back there. It's comparison, and it seemed like to me in just about everything in the workplace. Comparison, you got your overachievers, and then you got your people that's gonna do just enough to get by and work their 8 hours and go home, and then you got your over and your above and beyond. So it seems like it's comparison in everything.
Yeah.
Another book is talking about the Pharisee and the tax collector in Luke chapter 18. And he says, God, I thank you that I am not like other people, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. The Pharisee and the tax collector, how they different?
I think they're the same. The tax collector's been robbing us for years. Robbing us since. But what's the comparison in that? Like, why? What's the comparison in the robbers, the adulterers, and the tax collector? Like, why are there?
Pharisees?
Yeah, in this, you got to read more than just the verse, because what's the link?
18. Let's see what it says. 18 and 11. Pharisee, and this is.
Well, he said, or even like this tax collector. So, is it a particular tax collector that's probably?
Well, let's read it. So verse 11 says, the Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as the publican. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For every one that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted.
Okay, it makes sense. Okay, so I guess they're saying because the tax collector, he was in a position of power or whatever. So it was more like, I'm up here, y'all down here, because I'm the one collecting the tax. So he wasn't humble. Okay.
Right. So the study note says the Pharisees' words are a stark contrast to the publican, the tax collector. who can't even hold his head up before God. The Pharisee not only does not want God's grace, but disdains it. The reason in his mind is that he does not need it. For his righteousness, law keeping, as he defines it, is sufficient, indeed, more than enough. So the Pharisee think he's already doing more than enough because he praying and paying, paying his tithes and tax collector.
But that's also self-righteous.
Exactly.
Because who's to say that you just up here compared to them just because you're doing all this most stuff? So you're putting yourself on that pedestal.
Right. Another example would be defensiveness. Another reason why we might compare. Yep. Okay. I feel it because as I was
feel
writing,
what exactly?
Defensiveness, like.
Because the viewers need to know. What do you feel?
I ain't got time.
What do you? I know what you're talking about, but I know what you're talking about, but they don't know what you're talking about. So what do you feel?
Defensiveness.
Okay.
Means that they might be reacting to feelings of guilt or shame by shifting focus to someone else's perceived wrongdoing.
And how does that relate to you? How can you relate in that area?
I think it relates to all of
But
us.
we're talking about you. How does this relate to you?
I mean, I don't know.
You know. You just sit there and say, yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it.
Okay, so how did
Because I'm
it
definitely
relate
not
to you?
self-righteous. I'm not self-righteous at all. But defensive, yeah, I'm always trying to prove myself, or prove a point. I do that. I do.
And then, like, if we're like, just hypothetically, like, if we just say we could be having a conversation and you just automatically think it's, about you and you kind of get in this.
Because my name always coming up and stuff, and I don't never understand why.
Always?
It seems like it. Is that being defensive?
Yeah.
It seems like my name is always
That's
coming
not
up.
that's not self-righteous, but in a sense it's kind of like, it's kind of, what's the word? It's not self-righteous, but innocent. It's conceited a little bit because it's just, why do you think everything just always has to be about you?
It don't though. That's just it. I'm a very introverted person, and I don't like my name coming up.
But also when you create, but also in situations to where you create offense, you get defensive when the other person feels some type of way about it.
But how do I create the offense though? How do I do that?
Is that, you want an example?
Yeah, give me an example.
Okay. Last week. When you said what you said about about the kids coming to my house for youth day.
Okay.
And she decided, because I was getting all of the kids, all like the nieces and nephews, all the kids, and some other kids to come to the house or whatever, the first thing she say is, actually, let me go back to the text message.
No, what we on the phone?
No, she texted.
Oh yeah.
And she said,
Golly.
give me just a moment.
Very much unscripted.
She said, because she was asking about the recording. She said, I need to record this weekend. Y'all ready? I said, well, junior baseball celebration Saturday, so I definitely won't be able to. Then I was like, getting all the kids because they come with me to church Sunday. She goes in to say, why you won't have your niece Jordan? She seems to get left out with everyone. So I was telling her, I'm like, Whitney gonna be here with the girls. Then she said what she said. And so I said, and it wasn't intentional, so stop doing that. I said, then she said she gonna be with me, but not fair all the kids that she could be around over there. One, how was I supposed to know that Jordan was with you?
I thought you knew.
You thought. You assumed. You should have clarified before you made that
I thought we
statement.
had already talked about it.
But you thought.
Yeah, I did.
But you didn't have clarity that we spoke about.
And then let's, fast forward a little bit. So I know this is probably not about this conversation, this, segment, but I think when it comes down to self-righteousness, you have somewhere in there that should have accountability, correct? So in that situation, you know, I guess when someone corrects you with that self-righteousness, shouldn't we have...
But I'm not self-righteous. I'm definitely not self-righteous.
It's probably like how we keep saying that we put stuff on the scale. You're probably not 50%, 75%, but you have a little self-righteous in there because you always think.
Genuinely believe their actions are more justified or less severe.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you always come back with, well, but I didn't mean it like that, or I didn't say it like that, or whatever. Just like when you said that, you said, I always feel an attack when it's not the intent, it's crazy, or whatever. And regardless of that, you threw it out there without getting clarity. So you created the offense. So I was offended by what you said, but you got defensive.
You got defensive and offended.
And over something you created.
And then there's me in the middle thinking it's beef between me and her, and I'm trying to get clarity of what's going on because I'm just getting off work. So I'm trying to get an understanding of what's going on. You knew what was going on, and I asked you what was going on, but you chose a whole 50 minutes to drag it out, and the whole time it was your fault.
But not.
And you didn't have accountability.
But not
self-righteous.
Really, not really all my fault, because a lot of times y'all come to me with y'all's and I'm in the middle.
Nobody came to you.
And I can't.
Okay,
In
that moment, yes, because we didn't know what was going on. She came to you because of something that I said, but it started off with Janine.
No, it did not. It's two separate, different.
No, because you're basing off that what you started. She said, "Oh, well, I don't get invited to either, Mom."
Right.
Then when she came on the phone, I was saying, "Well, yeah, I just don't care," because she hadn't responded yet. But what she's saying is, you initiated that whole thing.
Yeah, but what she said didn't have anything to do with what I was saying.
But
she's saying that to something else.
We figured that out 50 minutes later after I asked her what was going on. I asked her what was going on.
She would have never made that comment about Jordan. She would have never had no reason to say what she said. Even though she said she was just playing, but she would have never had no reason to say that if her mama not threw that out there about Jordan.
But you still didn't even have to say it though.
But I didn't have to say it.
I felt like I did in the moment.
Me, I play all the time.
Self-righteous.
You're right, self-righteous. It ties back into self-righteous.
So clearly, I need to figure out and work on self-righteousness and defensiveness so far.
Okay. Yeah. And that's why I said accountability should be somewhere in there. Because I still didn't get an apology, but, you know, that's not here or
What am I
there.
apologizing to you for?
Ma, we had a whole debacle. What time that was? I got off work at 7 o'clock in the morning. I've been laughing and joking with y'all all the way till I got home, which is 25 minutes. And then after that, we had a whole debacle for a whole nother hour. But this is neither here or there.
It's clearly here and there.
Yeah, but we're talking about self-righteousness. That just shows like everybody have those issues. We ain't just on here talking about how you perfect self-righteousness and not have it, how you perfect defensiveness and not have it. Because clearly, you know, we all struggle with that. Some more than others.
And the youth pastor at church Sunday, he taught about how the title of the message was God Come See About Me or whatever. But he was talking about how like when the man was up in the mountains and he was going, everybody thought he was crazy and whatever, and he was
wrestling with God.
No, he wasn't wrestling with God. It's just that he had spirits in him. He had demons in him. And he was talking about how the man was up there taking stones, trying to cut himself and stuff like that. And he said that he saw God from afar. And God basically pulled up on him and drove the demons out or whatever and delivered him. He was just like, sometimes you just have to allow God to come to you. Yes, go to God. But he was just talking about that. But the gist of the message was, we all got them. We all got some type of spirits and demons that we're wrestling with. Yours might be aggression and defensiveness. Hers might be being offended and being in solitude. Hers might be something else. We all have them.
That's what the key insight says. We all fall short. Not on a scale, but entirely, we all fall short. Comparison is a tool of pride, not of sanctification. Jesus never said, at least you're not as bad as her. He said, go and sin no more.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the main thing, the goal is, because the Bible says to turn away from your sin. So you can't compare, because we're all trying to buy. The Bible even says to brothers and sisters, pray for one another, because we're all on this Christian journey together.
Right.
Meaning, just like how it's hard for you on your journey, it's hard for the next person.
Absolutely.
Or whatever. So it's like you can't compare. Like you can't. Everybody's struggling.
That's the point of not comparing, because something that I probably struggle with, you have probably perfected. Something that you struggle with, she done probably perfected. Mm-hmm. So instead of comparing, oh yeah, she going through all that, I don't see how. Versus helping your sister out, right. Helping whoever out. That's how it's supposed to be. Right. All that comparison stuff came from us. God don't compare when it come down to who's, greater than the other. Now, he did compare Job. Because Job, but that was in a different context. Mm-hmm. Because he was letting the enemy know, like, hey, you can do whatever you want to do with him. He ain't going to fold.
Exactly.
So, I'm about to say, I don't think, when it comes down to us, comparison, that's, what they say, comparison is like a thief of your joy. It robs your joy, something like that. Because I'm about to say, I understand comparison when you're trying to elevate in life. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, man, dang, I see Tranisha, she just got this Rolls Royce, and she just got her Rolex. That's motivation. Like, look, I'm over here, compared to me, I'm over here just stealing my Honda, and ain't nothing wrong with a Honda. But I'm over here in my Honda, and in my one studio apartment, I'm trying to get up to what she is. Yeah, you comparing yourself, but that's in a motivational way. Mm-hmm. Now people just do comparisons like, yeah, I'm better than her. Like, yeah, she got this going on, I'm better. No. Because I feel like when you have that type of mindset, God humble you real quick. Mm-hmm. Quick.
Yeah.
So, that's my insight.
What do you think about comparing sins, or thinking that, okay, she this way, but I ain't doing that, so
I agree with what was said earlier. I mean, we're not supposed to compare ourselves to one another. I totally agree. Somebody said that earlier. Not supposed to, but we do it anyway. I don't know why.
Do you think, so here's a good question. Do you think we sometimes may hide behind other people's situations to avoid dealing with our own situations?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely. Sometimes where comparison come from too, though. So I'm just focused, I'm keying on to your sin.
So I ain't got to deal with my own.
So I ain't got to look at my own, yeah. So yeah, I'm probably dealing with some stuff. But yeah, let me look at compared to her. Shoot, I'm saying, you're not.
Is that where conviction comes in?
No.
What you gonna do? No, I'm just saying, like, personally, like, I have those thoughts. Like, I know what this person over here got going on. I know what they have going on. This couple have going on over here. But that's not to say, oh well, I ain't doing this. It ain't to say that. It's just, I really hope they get it together. Stuff like that. It's not to say, well, shoot, I ain't say they got that going on. I know I'm alright over here since they got, no.
And some people are not even self-aware. Some people, they feel like how and what they're doing and the stuff, they feel like they're genuinely right. So some people not even self-aware that they're sinning or what they're doing is a sin or whatever the case may be. Now, when you are, that's when conviction comes in at.
Right.
And that's why I be praying that I don't ever want to lose the spirit of conviction, because I feel like if you ain't been convicted of nothing, you just so far. Yeah.
I can get out.
Woo. Yeah. It's like I know I have issues with it, like especially with certain people based on certain things that have happened in my life. It's like, it's not that you be praying for somebody's downfall, but if something happens, it's kind of like, yeah, if you wouldn't have been messing with me, it would.
Self-righteous.
Yes.
Self-righteous.
Yeah, yes. It's like, but then it can be other people, and I'll be like, oh, I hate that happened to them.
I hate it happened to anybody.
But I think that's kind of.
It's not.
It's a speck of hatred in your heart for that person. If something.
I'm sorry, because you just said something. When you say you hate that it happens to this person, not to be like, yeah, you know, God got you, whatever. But then you just said, oh, I actually hate that happened to him. Do we really hate that it happened to him?
Yeah.
But if we know, like somebody at your job messing with you, just hypothetically, and they've been bothering you for months, and you don't do nothing, and you do what God tell you to do, because He gonna take care of it. You know He gonna take care of it for you. So then when you get to work this one particular day, and you see that the wall then came crashing down on this person that's been bothering you for months. So is that not God intervening? Do you say?
I mean, but I feel like there's still. I look at it as, okay, just since we talked about work, if somebody messes with me at work, I don't care about stuff like that. You can't bully me because I don't care. But if somebody is and their walls did come crashing down, and they get fired. I'm in my head, I'm like, yeah, see, you know, you're on bother folk, but I hate that you just lost your stream of income. I hate that you just, you know, got food out of your kid's mouth. You can't pay your bills. I still hate that for you, but at the end of the day, I know how God works. So if you see Him moving like that and you just being ugly gonna come back on you tenfold. Right. So I still hate it for you because your own intentions, your own heart just got you in a situation to where you losing money and you losing provision for yourself. So I still hate it for you, but and that's where the comparison come from. But I'm not like, just because I don't care about that person, I ain't like, yeah, you shouldn't have been messing with me. I ain't gonna be like that.
That's how I feel like I be with certain people that I feel like have wronged me.
I feel like it's a little hate there then. It's a little hatred in your heart.
I don't want to say that I hate anybody. I hate somebody. It's so strong.
But that's so strong.
But I'll give a prime example of something that happened. So several months ago, I get this out of the blue phone call, and they're looking for a person because they need to pick up a vehicle. And I'm like, say what now? And I haven't seen nor heard from this person, and I know over 10 years. So I'm just like, how does my name and number even come up as still tied to a person, you know, that we have definitely moved on in life over 10 years, and they're looking to pick up a car or, you know, pick up a vehicle. So, I mean, all I could tell them was, hey, I have no idea, you know, where this person is. I haven't seen them in over 10 years and that was in there. But when I hung that phone up, I laughed about it. Like, see, when you do wrong to folks, this is the kind of thing that happened. But then I felt, not immediately, but I do feel some conviction about laughing about it. And then I think I might have told y'all, I told a few people about me getting a phone call. But then I instantly felt like,
because how you know that one your test from God?
It could have been. I feel.
And that's why I said I be asking God to change my heart posture towards things, towards people, towards situations, because I don't never, even if somebody done did me ugly, I still don't want to see nothing bad happen to them because of the simple fact, I know my heart, and just like we just said about the man in the mount, everybody has spirits and demons that they wrestle with.
Right. And some people don't even know they have them.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. When every time I see a person that's out here murdering people, being mean to people, whatever it is, I feel like, man, they're wrestling with a spirit. They're wrestling with a spirit. And you can't do nothing but pray for them. You really can't. So that's why I don't be like, well, you shouldn't. You done got your karma. I don't do that. I don't even speak on things like that because I know I'm not perfect, and I know it's something that I might be doing that's not pleasing to God, and I don't want Him to spin the block on me and be like.
And I guess that's where it comes in, because I know I have this issue, like what y'all call it, getting your lick back, whether you do it or whether, because I'm definitely
You ain't gonna do it.
Right, I'm out of the age bracket of trying to get my lick back on
You
my own.
don't have to, it doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be a physical lick back.
Yeah.
I know I use that line all the time because I've been on this, this whole matching everything.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give you what you're giving me.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of sitting back.
I don't even think
taking
we're
the high
supposed to
road.
do that.
We don't.
We're not.
But it's like you feel like
You
you being so nice and so kind of like,
You
I know
being a
how
big
big of a heart Tranisha have for people. And then you feel like you got this big heart, you don't want people to feel like, oh, well, I can run over her. I can get over on her. And that's how.
But God not gonna allow that though. That's what I'm saying. That's why that's why He don't want you, regardless of how people treat you, that's why He don't want you to change, because you have to look at the bigger picture. The way you interact with people that's doing you wrong, God sometimes have to use that for you to get through the people or whatever. So they look at you and be like, oh man, she still, even though I just did this to her reaction still is just, man, that changes them. God uses you in situations to where you be like, Lord, are you really gonna have to hold my hand through this because I'm trying or whatever. He will. But it's like you learn that it's not all. God is doing the work for His benefit, not yours. And I feel like that's the thing that we all have to keep in mind, that He's doing the work through us, but it's for Him to get the glory.
Right.
So that's why it's like, no matter how people treat me and I be feeling some type of way, but I just pray about it because I know like I'm not gonna ever change who I am. For people, just regardless.
Right.
I'm working on that because, like I said, I have just been the bigger person, sitting back and just I be quiet. Now I still sit back and I observe. I'm not the first thing that I'm in my action is not to get my lick back. Like I'll sit there and I'm gonna analyze it before I actually take action. I'm like, you know what? I'm not just entertain it. I'm not gonna do that. Mm-hmm. Even though immediately I'm gonna be like, man, I'm about to say something. Man, I'm about to, I'm about to go do da. But no, I actually sit back and I analyze it before I do it. And if anything, I'm definitely gonna pray about it. I gotta pray about it.
Right.
And let the Lord lead me. But I don't do it.
To me, sometimes I just don't care. Like it's some people at my job now. Y'all know I told y'all about the doctor dude, and when he in school to be a doctor.
Oh yeah. I remember.
He used to work with TJ.
Oh yeah.
And I ended up cutting it off. Like we didn't even text probably no past 2 weeks, if that. But I just found out last week that some girl been bugging me for weeks and disliking me because of him. And I just found out who she was this past week, and I'm just like, okay, that's kind of fake because you be on our flow sometimes, and we all joke and talk and stuff like that. So not knowing this whole time that you got an issue or a problem with me and whatever. So to where now I start paying attention to it, always mugging, looking at me, crazy and stuff like that. To me, I don't care enough to give you that same energy back, especially over no man. If you want to beef with me about some money or something. You beef with me over a man is diabolical. I'm not gonna beef with you over no man, but I can equally give you that same attention because he still wants to. Well, I ain't gonna say he still wants to because he kind of got the pitch after I text him. But at the end of the day, he showed interest in me. I'm the one didn't really want to talk to him, and I just cut it off. Didn't even talk to him past a week. But it's just, I can give you that same energy back by being petty, going on y'all floor, and hey, so-and-so name, hey, how you doing? Stuff like that. But I don't care enough. That's why I'm just like, I can't see myself oh, I'm finna get my lead back, I'm finna do this and that. I don't care, because you know, at the end of the day, I don't care, and I know God is gonna handle that. I'm about to say, and He genuinely sees my heart and sees that I don't care about stuff like that, because it's petty, it's childish, and you know, in today's time, yeah, I'm not falling for those type of answers, because I be thinking it really be the devil trying to get a reaction out of you, trying to get a raise out of you. And then once you do fall for that, all he gonna do is, I got her to slip, I told you I was gonna get her.
Right.
No, you can't get me, because stuff like that, I don't care about stuff like that. So it's just, I don't know. I think situations like that, it definitely depends on the person, but I also think it always made me think of Job. Because, you know, the enemy can't do nothing to us, you know, without getting God's permission first. So if something like that happens, then I just know, okay, God allowed the enemy to come test me. So clearly God is testing me, and He got confidence in me to know that I'm not going to slip up. So let me do what God has confidence in me about and not slip up. Let me go on about my business and not even give the devil opportunity to, see, God, I told you was going to slip. I told you. Because then that's going to make like the enemy know us more than God do.
Yep.
So, nah.
That's a good way to look at it. Good way to look at that.
Yeah, that's all I'm just.
Now, I wasn't saying that to say like that I just really be on something like heavy on get my lip back, because I don't bother fuck, like I don't do that. I mean, it's really not. And I think back to, I'm like, shoot, I'm 34 years old. Like I said, I'm just at a point in my life, I'm really wanting to be more at peace. I'm at peace with a lot of things, but I still feel like there's just another level of peace that I can't reach. Like I'm pretty happy with my life. I really am. I really have no complaints. Yes, I have seen some little stuff here and there where things have tried me. Yeah. And of course, I'm always going to incorporate God in it. Like, what is He trying to tell me? What is He trying to show me? You know, and I just have to
There's always a lesson.
Absolutely. So that's why I just be more. I was heavy on, I'm about to get my lick back, because I'm tired of people thinking I'm a pushover. I've always been the bigger person, but I'm just kind of progressing to come over this way. Like, no, let me analyze this just a little bit more.
So when you used to get your lick back, what did you get out of it?
It was the satisfaction. It was just the satisfaction of, I'm just gonna show you. You're not the big person. Like, I just sat here and I'm just letting you, allowing you to bully me, whether it be just verbally bullying me or whatever the case may be.
Did it make you feel better though? Like,
there was a satisfaction, because when I just didn't let you harp down my throat or whatever the case may be, no, let me show you how to do the same thing too. You can't talk.
In a sense, I don't know. I don't think I could just sit here and let somebody stand over me and just little girl me. Now, I ain't saying that I'm finna go back and forth, but you ain't finna be just going off and I'm just, well, if I could just say turn the other cheek, it do. I would have to physically like turn the other cheek. I wouldn't just sit up and just, sit there and just take that.
right.
Stop it.
Think about it. So I guess this is where grace comes in. So the reminder about grace isn't selective. The cross covered all sin, not just the big ones, it covered the little ones too. So when we stop comparing and start confessing, that's when healing begins. So for me and anybody else, if you struggle with comparing your sins or comparing yourself to what somebody else is doing, take a moment, instead of pointing out someone else's wrong, ask God to show you what needs to be healed in you. I also looked at, of course, some of our sisters in the Word that struggle with this exact same thing. And the very first two women that came up was Sarah and Hagar. So Sarah was the one that didn't wait on God because she couldn't see how she was going to get pregnant. So she had the husband go and get the maid servant, say, you go get with her so you can get this baby, right? So it says what happened. Sarah, unable to conceive, gave Hagar to Abraham. When Hagar became pregnant, tension rose. Sarah judged and mistreated her even though it was Sarah's ideal. So Sarah compared their roles and resented Hagar's ability to do what she couldn't. So there was pride, there was jealousy, and harsh judgment that came out of that. So the lesson is comparison can lead to cruelty even when we started from a place of insecurity. Another example is Miriam's judgment of Moses' wife. So Miriam and Aaron, was Moses' sister and brother, spoke against Moses because he married a Cushite woman. So he married somebody from another tribe. Miriam is the one punished with leprosy. So she judged him, but she got the punishment because she judged him.
And I think goes in hand with what we were just saying. So, you got that phone call, not saying that, but just an example.
Yeah.
You got that phone call and you get,
You can't pay,
So I feel like in situations like that, you still get in trouble, with stuff like that because as a child of God, you shouldn't be responding that way. As a child of God, you should, Lord, I pray that, you make a change in their finances so they are able to pay, their car note.
And I'm telling you, that's what I felt like, after all of that had happened, I should have been doing.
Right.
But we have to be, one of my favorite words this year, we have to be intentional about wanting to change. Right. Even though we say we're human and it's in our nature to gossip, it's in our nature to, this happened to you. It's in our nature to do that.
Yeah.
But if we know that we
gotta change.
actively wanting to change,
change it.
We have to be intentional about that. And be like, you know what, Lord, I was getting ready to go into the very wrong place. Help me to redirect my heart and just pray for this person.
Right. So also in contrast, there are some women that demonstrated grace in the Bible in certain situations. So there's the woman who was caught in adultery. So she was dragged before Jesus for her sin. But Jesus tells the crowd, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. All of them had dropped stones. They had dropped them. She was judged harshly and alone while the man was nowhere to be found. So they judging her, but not the man that was involved. So the lesson in it is Jesus does not deny her sin, but shows grace and gives her a new chance.
Exactly.
Ruth and Naomi is another example versus bitter comparison. So Naomi compares her life to others, saying she went away full and came back empty. Yet Ruth shows her grace and loyalty and compassion. So Naomi is bitter from loss. She lost her husband. But Ruth's grace helps her rebuild. So in closing, I'll say a quick little prayer. Lord, break the pride in me that ranks sin. Help me see my heart clearly and give me the courage to confess without comparison and to forgive without condition. Lord, help us to stop comparing wounds and start surrendering them. Forgive our pride, break down our defenses, and lead us to healing through honesty. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.